name is Halimatu Sise. I'm a Gambian student and journalist. When I was 9 years old, my grandmother took me to see a woman who cut off my clitoris. I am campaigning against female genital mutilation. I want to end this practice in a generation. My campaign is taking me to radio stations all over the country. And I can feel the pain. I can feel the pain of this razor blade clearing my clitoris. I'm talking to students in my college, especially the men who often know nothing about what FGM really is. And I'm writing about FGM in the newspaper where I work. This is my FGM story. I was born 25 years ago in Banjul. My family all have different views about FGM. My sister is married and has 2 children. We were both cut together. So, what do you remember?
Ibuka song te nyaayeji. Ika feneta ye nyaasiti. Ika feneta ye nyaasiti ni ye nyaasiti. Ika dimo nyin kala mute fam kalon ne ko. Sai. Bari me yakele nyabuka woji.
I know you had Nafi cut, so what does the future hold for her, Ramo?
Ndafita wala fanan na pourkasam.
Pourkasam. Say te aje ko nyakada abetiata.
Abetiata.
Okay. My mother is very traditional, but she supports me in my campaign. And I know she's listening to some of my arguments against FGM.
Okamala waya kumandi bake na aduko kato nimen tata itikalo ne munya tinna tata eka adawol kala mutaje eka kuwol kala mutaje eka itanya fana lo kono ko alfali si bunya nyami ila kuwo fana isalo ibe tamala nyami wala ni nyaka wala yatina kumata yaji yo ni kumembo nyama ni ngatrando tata ko fo leyin tembo mendo ni ngataranto la dingol la jamano kanan to la jamano kan mon natna londo soto je me ya no ko nga kan barala mantoro wasala mantoro no kunun dol malo oto sai go mantoro asidian to le nyawonya ni ngataran be fantan ka boro fu mantoro ma dol fonon be bulari ol mari nyol noma sa ko kelenga ko bang pour nga kayo soto no nyami.
What would change your mind on FGM?
That's a problem. I don't do la market capacity. Limited lesson. Canyon la lesson.
My sister is a very emotional person. She would not be present where her child is cut, but if the film is played and it was right there before her, she might change. Yeah, that might change her view towards cutting the younger one or any other one. Yeah. My best friend Awa got married last year. She was sealed after being cut, which means she has just a tiny hole left to urinate and menstruate. This is quite common in the Gambia. Girls are not told this will cause problems when they marry. So her wedding night was a shock.
I was told that I have to go. I have to be opened again because the place that was left for me was too small to have time with my husband. So I was taken to a lady, I say an old woman, to open me up, which I can say was a very difficult experience for me because I have to face the woman and look her in the eyes and do what she have to do. I cried, but it's something that I have to do. So
What other side effects do you have from the semen?
2 months later, after my marriage, I was pregnant, but after going through a scanning, I was told that the baby was not breathing, so they have to evac the pregnancy. Another 2 months later again, the same process. Till then,
You get pregnant again.
yeah. But the same problem still. And I was told by the doctor that I have to sit for a year or 6 months before,
You get pregnant
yeah,
again.
before getting pregnant again.
We have seen that that's the school that we all went through, and we were caught when we were going through the school. And it's sad to see that most of these girls, if not all of them, have been caught, and we are entering the cotton season. The cotton season is over the Christmas holidays, and I want to stop girls being caught now if I can. I'm preparing to go to a conference run by an organization called Safe Hands for Girls and the British newspaper, The Guardian. There will be 36 young activists and journalists from all over the Gambia. One of the first people I met is Jahad Jokre, whose campaign against FGM has taken her all over the world.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really nice meeting you. I also met and talked to fellow activists from different regions in the Gambia. The idea is to build a national youth campaign, getting the media behind us, telling our FGM stories.
I am doing this because I'm a survivor. I am doing this because all of us are survivors. I am doing this in order to protect the future generation. I have nieces, I have a daughter who I don't want her to be circumcised. So as I continue engaging my family, especially my mother, then at some point she apologized to me. She told me, my daughter, I am sorry. I didn't know that this is the consequences of this practice. Had I known, I wouldn't have performed it on you.
No, it's a lot of activities going around. People were dancing in drums, and there were people holding mango leaves and dancing. So there was a lot of noise. Someone was holding the lapper, and I was blindfolded because you can't see anything. You were blindfolded, but I just remember being put on top of a lap of a woman, and then there was a cut.
I could still remember when I was given away to this woman. There are two other women who are middle-sized women, but these women are so powerful that when they grab you, you hardly even move. So the wrapper I am tying, they just untie the wrapper and then sat me down. They spread my legs. The other one hold my left, the other one hold the right leg, and then this Simba pulled out a new razor blade. I thought it was for something else, but then they are going to use it on me. And then she just pulled out the razor blade and start clearing my clitoris. Blood started oozing, you know. I was even crying, you know. I can still hear myself crying back in the days. And, you know, she started cutting. I was crying. But as a child, when you are crying, you also look into the eyes of the one who is holding you. But no matter how long I look in the eye of this woman continued to cut me. She continued to cut me. The bond, they said the bond that a mom and a child shares, this woman does not feel that. She does not feel the fact that I am a child, and she is a mother. She just continued to cut me. After cutting me, I sat in a pool of blood. As well as the stories, we saw a theme showing a baby and a young girl being cut.
The video that we have seen is very inhuman, and my challenge or question to my fellow journalists and activists is what next?
What happened here today? They were looking at a point where they said, stop it. We have seen all that is happening. Taking a blade, cutting somebody just like that, and blood is oozing out and the child crying, it really will touch them and it will make them come out and pronounce and their stand in the fight against FGM. One of the main justifications for FGM is religion, which is very important to people in the Gambia. At the conference, we heard from a respected scholar who said that FGM is not in the Quran and some imams are misleading people. Ustaz, we have seen on the Standard newspaper on the front page, Imam Fati talking and saying FGM good must stay. What's your opinion on that?
My opinion that is very simple, that Mr. Imam Fati is talking about his opinion in Islam. If we look in the health side, health side is very, very important in Islam religion. If the daughters, Muslims, both Muslim or Christian, they say that is harmful and it's not good for a girl, why we continue to practice? That's the question. So you cannot, as scholars in the Muslim Ummah, allow the people they use the name of religion. No, religion does not accept that.
Can you tell us whether the issue of FGM, female practicing FGM on girls is mentioned, particularly mentioned in the Holy Quran?
No, my sister. It's not mentioned in the Quran at all. Yeah, it's not mentioned in the Quran.
Conference ended with a campaign song, which we are now taking to play in local radio stations when we talk about FGM.
Tell them to stop cutting you, stop restructuring you, to start loving you, start appreciating all of you, because you are a standing ovation. You are symphonies of laughter. You are the light at the end of the tunnel.
You're the light at the end of the tunnel. You're a blessing. If you just tuned in, you're listening to the nation's finest radio station, 105.7, absolutely #1. Today in the studio with me, I have Halima Tusise, and she is working with a campaign to end FGM in the Gambia. All right, Halima, apparently you are a bold young person, because it takes a lot of courage to come up and talk about issues like this, especially knowing that FGM is a tradition that has been here for a long time. It's embedded in our culture. All of a sudden coming up to say we want to end this is a bold step. How do you do this?
Okay. It's a big question.
I'm telling you.
Yes. How we do it is we're telling young people that this is our generation. We don't need to sit back, we need to break the silence, come forward and talk to people. Because if we don't talk, people will not know what is happening. If we don't talk, they will not know what is in us. It's good to consult the young people, and anything that concerns them, it's good to consult them, since we are the ones who are cut. At first, I was worried that when we go on air to talk to people, their comments will be negative. But then when we are on air and I had, we have positive comments from people, particularly the young people, it gives me hope that we can end this practice in our generation, because people are coming up with positive comments denouncing the practice. So it's a good thing. Yeah. Last night, our president, the president of the Republic, was on TV denouncing female genital mutilation. He's saying that he's banning the practice with immediate effect. And the papers also have picked it up, and it is on the front page of every newspaper in this country. What needs to happen is the bill that was thrown out of the National Assembly just recently should be returned. We should return the bill back to the National Assembly so that they can enact a specific law banning the practice and consequences of anybody who practice FGM. We're going to meet Amadou Oba, who is also a participant at the Media Academy, also a manager of the Biam Community Radio, which is in the West Coast region of the Gambia. I'm going to be a guest on his radio show.
Broadcasting live on the frequency of 91.9 FM. My name is Amadou Oba, welcoming you to another interesting and educative discussion. Personally, I feel delighted to hear from the most powerful person in the country, in the nation, denounce the act.
When I heard my president denouncing the practice, it gives me hope that what I went through, other girls will not go through. Many women who are cut have problems, especially when it comes to pregnancy and childbirth. In the rural areas, many are treated by midwives like Sophia. But most women give birth at home, so often they have suffered a lot before they get to a clinic.
The problems are definitely too much. Most of the problem that we have is after they do this FGM, they normally have very tight orifice, and some of them have scar, a very terrible scar. And this scar, it doesn't help the perineum to stretch, because normally when a woman is in labor and is about to deliver, the perineum stretches so that there will be a wide opening so that the baby can pass. But if there is this scar, it prevents the perineum from stretching, and it leads to very bad complications like tears. And this tears leads to, it could be upper tear, which can damage the bladder, or a lower tear that can cause rectovaginal fistula, which can cause some kind of fistula, an opening between the rectum and the vagina, and there will be stool coming out from the vagina. So these are cases where they are difficult to treat and handle here. There was a lady I also met. She had FGM done, and they did like something like sealing, and she was given to her husband for her to go and get married, and the husband cannot go in. And she had to come back to the hospital, and the doctor, because before she came to the hospital, they were taking her to all these Ngansimbas, and they were trying to open it up with scalpel blade and everything, razor blade. But then later on, when they were tired, they brought her to the hospital. And it was so bad. You know, that woman went through real pain she went through. So I think definitely with that one that I saw, I was in tears because it was not fair. I feel it's not fair. It should come to an end, definitely.
I've been told that a local woman who is a cutter is willing to talk to me. I want to see if she is now prepared to drop the knife after the president has banned FGM.
Ya dindi ndo be jamana ko masa mabarin ka sama bulo ko to ndata na ndongo ke janda tan na tata bulo ko na tandara men keta ban niaje otumo murchili bar ta niaje murchili mo bula aka boko sa sale be cheering sa sale siata tata kenda bunda mol na ta fa ko kana mol kana sai nunto muro mole wolande munem sa sale be cheering melan ko ikanyo soundala. So wulat na ya iko nga obula sa ni me mobta wulo kono mo ni la lanseto iko nga nyin nga lande ya chosano ke sela defa nga din ndol sama melan ko dole na tanu njang ni to programme ke ya din ndo be jamana ko ma sama barin ka sama wulo ko so ndata na nga ndongo ke janda tan na tata wulo kono na tandara men keta.
I'm pleased this woman has stopped cutting girls at last, but there is another cutter I want to make an interview, the woman who cut me. I'm going to meet my cutter. I've been looking for her for a long time now. I've made inquiries and they've told me that she is still alive. So I'm going to meet her to ask her why she cut me, and is she still cutting? Why is she still cutting if she is still cutting? And if there is a possibility of her dropping the knife. I'm feeling quite nervous. I went inside to talk to the cutter. I know she was cutting on Tuesday, but she now told me that since the president has made pronouncement banning female genital mutilation in the country, she doesn't want to talk because she is afraid to talk. I am disappointed I didn't get my interview with her because I wanted to look her in the eye on camera and question her. She didn't recognize me, but then that is no surprise because she has cut so many girls, thousands of girls just like me. My newspaper, The Point, is publishing my stories on a regular basis, and they are helping to keep this campaign going. But it is also important to talk to people face to face. I have just been elected as student president of my college, and I'm going to use the platform to inform the students about the campaign against FGM. Yeah, the campaign I'm doing right now, we're doing a campaign on female genital mutilation. If some of you may have heard, last night the president was on TV denouncing the practice, saying that he doesn't want anybody to practice female genital mutilation. I love my country, I love my religion, and I love most of our cultural traditions. But it is time for Gambia to move forward and end this tradition of FGM.
She's a curse upon her family, useless flesh. She must be cut, restructured, reanimated, fitted only for her man. You're a blessing. You were perfect. Never let society convince you otherwise.